UK Prime Minister David Cameron has congratulated President Obama on his election victory. He says he wants to work with the US President to kickstart the world economy, establish an EU-US trade deal and resolve the crisis in Syria. As the United States is a major player on the world stage, the results of the election will have an impact on the UK and Europe. Britain in particular has shared a special relationship with North America for several decades. Both have been allies in the recent wars of Iraq and Afghanistan and enjoy strong trade links. JM1 spoke to Professor Michael Cox, an expert in American foreign policy, about the implications of Obama's re-election. So what does the result of the US elections mean for the UK and Europe?
So I think the first response in the UK and in Europe is a very positive one. The question then becomes, will it have a big impact or transformation in policies towards Europe and the UK? And I think here, I'm not sure it is going to have much change because, you know, we've got the same president in a new era, and I think secondly, the main problems that Obama faces are largely to be found outside Europe and not inside. The one problem that Obama faces with Europe, of course, is the European economic crisis. That's his number one European problem. But his main problems lie outside, in the Middle East and in Asia. There are some Americans who feel, and certainly the Obama administration feel, that there's been too much austerity policies within Europe, and that this is actually leading to a deeper recession in Europe. So the very attempt to bring about austerity to solve the crisis in Europe is viewed by some Americans as actually counterproductive to the long-term rebuilding of the European economies and long-term growth.
Obama's approach to the EU's economic crisis is supported by Britain's Labour Party leader Ed Miliband, who said Mr Obama's victory was built on creating a fairer economy. As well as this, here in the UK, many people believe that Mr Obama's re-election will have a positive impact on American foreign policy, and therefore Europe. Indeed, the UK media has suggested that David Cameron secretly preferred to work with Obama over Mitt Romney.
Yeah, I think it's really important because we have such a close relationship with the US, and it is one of the most powerful countries in the world. So who gets elected as the leader of the free world has a massive impact on us, and I think Obama is the best to lead us through.
I think so. I think the working relationship is good, and I think that because of the foreign policies that the other guy had, it would be quite scary for the UK. So I think Obama is the right person to work with us.
As a European, I think it's great because I think Obama's policies are probably more similar to Europe's. But on a EU-US kind of relations, I don't think it's actually that good because Obama's very much centered on Far East Asia and improving relations with China. And so maybe he doesn't really care that much about improving EU relations.
We understand Obama, we can see where he's going. We think that on many of his foreign policy positions, they're sensible, whilst not being satisfied with the status quo. And therefore I think we can do good business with him and work with him on some of the key issues around the world.
In the end, it's not going to be what Obama thinks of Cameron. It is are the interests of the two nations of great significance to each other. They are of more importance to the UK than they are to the United States. The US is still a global power and looks at the UK as a global power, look at all middle-range powers, you know, as a useful ally in terms of the pursuit of US interests.
And so a considerable number of people in the UK are of the opinion that working with Obama is beneficial for Britain. Here in the UK, it's clear that many people are happy with the election results, and this sentiment has been echoed by the British government. This is Celestina Ololode for JN1 in London.